Put two men side by side, one dripping designer labels, the other in a hoodie and worn-out jeans. Most people assume the first is rich. They'd be wrong. The quiet wealth almost never looks like wealth at all. In this video, we break down why the rich dress broke, the psychology behind it, and the math that makes this strategy life-changing. And stay with me, because near the end, I'll show you the retirement shortcut hidden inside this mindset. Section 1. The first rule of real wealth: don't look like it. When people imagine wealth, they imagine noise. Lamborghinis, Rolexes, Gucci belts, private jets. But real wealth is usually quiet. Warren Buffett still lives in the house he bought in 1958. Mark Zuckerberg wore the same gray t-shirt for years. Ingvar Kamprad, founder of IKEA, drove an old Volvo and flew economy. These men could buy anything, but they choose not to signal it. Why? Because the moment you look rich, you attract attention. And attention is expensive. You become a target for higher prices, expectations, envy, opportunists. Wealthy people understand something most people don't. Money loves privacy. The more you display it, the more pressure you create. But here's the deeper layer most people miss. It's not just about safety. It's about a psychological trap that silently rewires your entire lifestyle. And that's where things get dangerous. Section 2. Loud, broke versus quiet rich. There's a term people use now: loud broke. It's when your lifestyle screams success, but your bank account whispers stress. Studies show the biggest buyers of luxury goods aren't ultra-wealthy individuals. They're middle-class earners climbing the status ladder. Leased cars, designer bags on credit, phones upgraded yearly. Why? Because status feels powerful. But the moment you start spending to impress others, you enter a race with no finish line. There will always be someone with a bigger house, a newer car, a better vacation. And trying to keep up drains more than money. It drains your life. If this is already shifting how you see wealth, hit subscribe. Most people don't learn this until they're buried in payments, and we talk about this stuff every week. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because upgrading just once almost never stays just once, and this next concept explains why. Section 3. The Diderot trap that keeps you average. Let's say you buy something nice, a $3,000 watch, a designer jacket, a luxury car. At first, it feels incredible. Then something subtle happens. Your old stuff starts looking wrong. The jacket doesn't match your shoes. The car doesn't match your house. The watch doesn't match your lifestyle. So you upgrade again, and again, and again. This is called the Diderot effect. In the 1700s, French philosopher Denis Diderot received a beautiful robe. After wearing it, everything else he owned felt cheap. So he replaced his furniture, his decor, his belongings. One robe led him into debt. One upgrade reshaped his identity. And this is how lifestyle inflation works. You used to think a $15 meal was expensive. Then you treat yourself to $40. Soon, $40 feels normal, and $25 feels cheap. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill. You run faster, spend more, upgrade harder, but your happiness stays the same. The wealthy avoid this trap intentionally because they understand. Outward upgrades create inward pressure, and inward pressure kills wealth. Now let me show you where this becomes life-changing. Section 4. The silent math nobody talks about. Let's keep it simple. Say you save $500 per month by keeping your current car. Not chasing designer brands, avoiding constant upgrades. That's $6,000 per year. Invest $6,000 annually into a low-cost index fund averaging 8%. In 25 years, that becomes roughly $475,000, almost $500,000, from not trying to look rich. Now imagine you avoid upgrading to a house that costs $300,000 more than you actually need. Between interest, taxes, maintenance, and opportunity cost, that decision can cost you hundreds of thousands over decades. That's not a purchase. That's years of your life traded away. And here's the shift. The rich don't dress broke because they're cheap. They dress broke because they understand leverage. Money invested compounds. Money displayed depreciates. One buys freedom, the other buys applause. And applause doesn't pay dividends. But money isn't the only advantage here. There's something even more powerful hiding underneath this strategy. Section 5. Camouflage is power. Imagine walking into a dealership wearing a Rolex and designer suit. Now imagine walking in wearing plain clothes, calm, analytical. Same bank account, different treatment. When you look wealthy, people assume you can afford more. When you look average, you signal discipline. And discipline wins negotiations. This applies to salary discussions, real estate deals, business contracts. Looking broke lowers expectations. Lower expectations create leverage. It also protects you. When you broadcast wealth on social media, you attract scammers, fake friends, people asking for loans. But when you blend in, nobody asks. Privacy is underrated wealth. And this brings us to the deepest layer of all. Because the biggest reason the rich dress broke isn't tactical, it's psychological. Section 6. The ego shift that changes everything. A lot of people don't buy luxury for comfort. They buy it for validation, to prove they've made it, to silence doubt, to feel important. But the moment you stop needing validation, you become powerful. Because now your decisions are internal, not performative. The ultra-wealthy don't need to prove anything. They know their numbers. They know their assets. They know they could walk away if they wanted to. That confidence doesn't require logos. It requires control. Two people can earn the same salary. One spends everything upgrading appearances. The other builds assets quietly. 10 years later, one has photos. The other has options. And options are the real flex. If you're enjoying this deeper breakdown of wealth psychology, subscribe, because most advice focuses on earning more. We focus on thinking differently, and this final section ties everything together. Section 7. What they're actually hiding. So what are the rich hiding when they dress broke? Not money. They're hiding optionality. They're hiding the fact that they don't depend on their next paycheck. They're hiding peace. When your investments cover your lifestyle, Mondays don't scare you. You don't stay in toxic jobs. You don't trade 5 nights a week for a truck payment. You choose, and choice is the ultimate status symbol. In a world obsessed with showing, the smartest people are building quietly. Because they understand something most people never realize. The goal isn't to look rich. The goal is to need less. And when you need less, you win sooner. Final thought. Next time you see someone dressed simply, don't assume they're struggling. They might just be strategic. Before your next purchase, ask, is this buying freedom or is it buying attention? One compounds, the other collects dust. If you want to build wealth quietly, intelligently, and without selling your life to impress strangers, subscribe. Because the people who win long term, they don't look rich, they look relaxed. And that might be the biggest thing they're hiding.